Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the picture-in-picture Overwatch guy, Steven. I tried to pull that
more
together.
Time with that one.
Yeah,
that needed more time in the oven. The oven didn't seem like it was turned on.
The screen share obsessor man.
The guy who has a lightsaber.
There's that too. He also has a lightsaber. I was waiting for the bzzz. Did it happen? Did it go on? Did I?
Hold on.
Oh, hang on. Here it comes. I heard it.
Hold on. I'll have to.
You'll get to the lightsaber, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get to the lightsaber because this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. It's launch week, baby, or it was launch week last week. The new generation is here. If you watched our live streams from this weekend, we've been playing the PS5. I've got the controller right here. It's wonderful. It's great. The haptic feedback is no joke. We are going to talk all about our experiences with the PS5. We're not really going to cover any news this week. We're just going to talk about our experience with the PS5. I've played Astro Boy and have just been, or not Astro Boy, it's Astro's Playroom. I've played that, have been blown away by the controller. Can't wait to get into more stuff, but I've been crazy busy this weekend. Steven, however, has covered the gambit of he's touched a lot of games. So we're going to talk about, we'll talk about
And I'm pretty sure they've touched me.
Oh, how sweet. We're going to talk about Astro's Playroom. We're going to talk about Miles Morales. We're going to talk about Godfall. We're going to talk about Watch Dogs Legion, Division, I think you said, Steven. So we'll have some backwards compatible conversations in there as well. And we'll just talk generally about the system. What do we like about it? Blah, blah, blah. All that jazz.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No?
Sorry, I was going to. You go ahead.
Okay.
I'll punctuate the here's what we've got for you today, and then we can get into it.
Okay. After that, we will talk about mine and Steven's trip to Disney. We're mostly going to focus on our trip to Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars area in the park where Steven made his lightsaber that we mentioned. We'll see that. We'll hear about that. We're also going to hear a great story about me post Olga's Cantina. After a Fuzzy Tauntaun and a Jet Juice, which are two alcoholic drinks at the cantina. We'll talk all about that, and then it's a great time. It's a good story, and that'll be it.
Yes.
And
before we end the show, I will turn this lightsaber on. I just need to tinker it a little bit to get it to work, because right now it's it's sparking a little bit, so I got to work on it. But for those who want to see it, there you go. This is my lightsaber.
It's
beautiful.
This is why you let a professional build your lightsaber. You don't build it yourself. It'll spark. It'll do all kind of crazy stuff.
Well, you know what? Maybe what we need is a spark of hope.
Kind of like saving the children. Would that be a good enough spark?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because before we get into anything, we have to talk about what we're doing this weekend. That's right. Extra Life 2020 is back. It's happening. Extra Life is this weekend. This, of course, Extra Life is a wonderful charity that brings gamers and healing kids together. And so it's a big initiative. It's folks stream and people donate money to different children's hospitals across America. They have what they call Extra Life Game Day, which is a 24-hour live stream that we've taken part in for the last 2 years. It was actually not this past Sunday. I guess it would have been this past weekend. So the 7th.
Yeah, it was when we were gone.
It was when we were at Disney. So that's when the big game day happened. So if you follow some other streamers or YouTubers, you probably saw they were doing some sort of stream as a part of that. We kind of, because of our trip, but also because of some attacks. Like their website kind of got attacked last year during game day, which I haven't heard that happened this year. So that's good. I'm glad they stepped up security on that. Anyway, we wanted to kind of separate from everything else this year a little bit. So that's why we're doing our game day a weekend late. But it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a 24-hour live stream. It's going to start this Friday, so November 20th. Going to start around 7 o'clock. Now, we are notoriously have always started late for Extra Life. I'm hoping that doesn't happen this year. I'm hoping we start right at 7. But
get your bets in now on what problem we'll have to solve this year before we start live.
Last year was the first year. It was just like, how do we do this? How does this work? We kind of got our feet under us, and we were good. We came in year 2. We're like, we know how this works. We've done some things we knew we should have done last year, or we didn't know we should do last year. We got it all figured out. But then there was the attack. There was what's it called? A DOS attack?
It's DOS.
A DOS attack. There was a DOS attack. There was a firewall at our studio that wasn't allowing for online gaming, that we had to overcome that pretty quick. So anyway, lots of problems. Hopefully this year, the craziest thing will be that we're doing it during COVID, which brings me to, I am happy to talk about, I guess I should really talk. This is all, like we said, this is all to raise money for local children's hospitals. The hospital that we support is called Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital. They've been doing some great things, helping the children in Jackson, Mississippi, but also just across Mississippi in general, which is where we're located. And
I actually found out, I don't know if it was the first year we did this or if it was last year, but after one of those times that we did this, I found out that Blair E. Batson is actually the hospital where my sister's gotten most of their like heart surgery and stuff done. Mm-hmm. So there's a personal connection there.
It's great. It's a great hospital. They're doing good stuff. Mm-hmm. They're actually building a new wing of the hospital, and it has a tower that we had no part in.
They named after us.
We have no part in it, but Steven and I are lovingly calling it Chortle Tower. So Anyway, your money's going towards a good cause. So we've supported them for the last 2 years. It's been great. And we love getting to help them out. So that's what we're donating to. You can actually go right now if you want to get a head start. You can go to Chortle Games extralife.com. That'll take you to our donation link, and you can donate now and all that good stuff. So 24-hour live stream. We're going to be playing lots of games, but you can donate throughout, and your donations are not, obviously they're going towards a good cause. You're helping heal kids. You're taking care of sick kids, but also we're not just asking you to give money, right?
We're telling you, do it now.
We are giving you, we are granting you some rewards as a part of that. So
it's your annual opportunity to torture me specifically.
And me if you want, but I think most people enjoy torturing Steven a little bit
more. They really do. They will fork over the money to see me do things.
I really think it's because they love you most, Steven. That's what I think it is. I think they love you most, and they just like to pick on you. You know what I mean?
Or they're just trying to end me.
So I want to go over some of those donation rewards. We've got some new ones. We've got some old ones. And we got some fun ones. They're all going to be great. So for $1, so let me start here. One of the games we will be playing, we will be playing it twice throughout the whole stream, is a little game called Among Us, which we have not played on the channel. This is
I've never played it, period. Like
I've never played
my first time. Yeah, so this would be both of our first times playing it.
Yes. I didn't even think about this, Steven, but you should play one of those times, and I should play the other time. That way, we both get a chance and kind of flip it around. Anyway, okay. A lot of this is all in flux, but this is what we got nailed down so far. One of the games we're going to be playing is Among Us. Any donation that you make, so even if you just do our lowest reward, which is $1, your name is going to be put in a hat. And we ask that you put in like an email or something with all your donations so we can do this if you want to play. Any donation that you make, your name's going to be put in a hat. At the 2 points where we play Among Us, we're going to make a private server. We're going to email you a code. And if you're one of the ones picked, you can jump in, play Among Us with us.
Yeah.
We're going to try to make sure we can have as many people playing as possible.
Yeah,
but
the way we're probably going to do this, correct me if I'm wrong, because we did kind of gloss over this in our discussion beforehand. Each donation, not each dollar, but each time you donate, I guess, is a entry in the hat.
Yes.
So the more you donate, the better your opportunity is to be in the game. But obviously, if someone donated 100 times, they can only be picked once.
Right. Yeah. If you got to play in the first round, unless we're just looking for more folks, which we very well could end up where everybody's just gonna can jump in. We'll try to make it where if you got to play in the round 1, you may not get picked for round 2 unless we just
if there are a lot of people waiting, like if we've had a lot of donations, then we'll probably limit it to 1 game per person. But if the donations, if it's kind of split, we may it really depends. We'll have to decide time of. I don't know why I put an ice cube in my mouth before I started this sentence. That's really hindering my ability to talk.
So that is an overarching reward. So anything you do is going to get you a name in the hat to maybe play Among Us with us if you want. So that's one thing. Let's go into some of the other rewards. A classic. We've done this every year, but I love it. $1 for a dab. All right. Pay $1, we do a dab. You can pick me, you can pick Steven, you can pay $2 and do both of us, but we'll do a dab.
You could pay $10 and be like, Jake, do 10 dabs right now.
That's happened. It happens before. A lot of people like to punctuate things with a dab. They'll do a bunch of other big things and then be like, do a dab, $5 tell a pun. Steven or I have to just drop a pun right then. $5 impressions, viewer's choice. So if you want to hear Steven's classic New Yorker, you could pay $5 to make that happen.
Or you could just wait 5 minutes before I pull it out without even realizing it.
There's that could happen too. But hey, you get to dictate that one. You can pay $5. I'll sing whatever you want. You can tell me a phrase and I'll make it a song. We'll make that happen. $10 we'll draw something. $15 will solve a math problem or attempt to. This was a fun one. Someone suggested last year we did, and it was pretty good.
Yeah,
this is a new one. I think it was Stowe.
If you're here, if you got any math homework, bring it on.
This is your time. This is your one chance.
$15.
I'm not saying it's going to be right, but we'll try it. This is a new one. It was actually brought up in a stream. So this is, viewers matter here. $15 ASMR for 1 minute. Now, what this means is when you pay that, you say ASMR. Whatever we are doing, whether it's playing Miles Morales or we're doing the Ghost of Tsushima raid or something, we have to go ASMR mode. So we're going to talk like this. Steven, go to zone 3. Jake, shoot that guy. Shoot him. Like that sort of stuff. That's what's going to happen.
So it turns whatever we're doing into ASMR, or we stop and then do some ASMR?
It turns whatever we're doing into ASMR. So,
or I guess it's up to, like,
if you tell me, if you say, hey, say this, but as it's an ASMR, we'll do it. Just whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's the default. If you don't specify,
really, it's your money.
It's
your money.
It's your money. Whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
But that's the default. If you just come in with that, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Another classic, $20. We'll punch each other. We've got a big Hulk fist. You can pay me to punch Steven. You can pay Steven to punch me. You can pay me to punch myself. I don't care. Whatever you want to do with that. $20 for a water dunk. That's where we dunk our head in a tub of water, which is very refreshing after a pie to the face, which is a classic. That's for $50. A little bit more expensive, but it's so worth it. We're going to be doing that. And then again, $50, I will eat a hot pepper. I ate a lot of hot peppers last year. It was very painful after the end of it. It got old real fast. My acid reflux was really going crazy.
Yeah, there was one point when I believe Kalen donated enough to get a hot pepper, an impression, and a water dunk all simultaneously, and he did a Christopher Walken impression, but it was while the pepper was in his mouth, and like it was your mouth got so hot that you slurred your words so much that it sounded like it was almost like you were having a stroke, and then you just went into the water. It was great. It's in the highlights of last year. If you would like to see kind of how this went last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you really want to see what it was like, what this is like, go watch the highlights. That's
it's pretty funny.
It's great. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Now One other thing that we added last year was goals, right? So once we hit a certain goal, there was an overall reward for everybody. A really popular one that I'm so upset we can't do this year was that I had my makeup done once we hit $250. Our overall goal that we're trying to raise is just $1,000. I think we blew that out of the water last year. I think we ended up with 1,500. But 1,000 is kind of our goal. If we hit that, awesome. If we don't hit that, awesome. We're still helping kids, and it's going to be great. When we hit 250, I had my makeup done. We can't do that this year. We're trying to be conscious of COVID. And so it's only going to be me and Steven. Anyone else we pull in is going to be from an online source. Steven and I are going to be together like we always have been for this. But we're trying not to pull in anyone else. So just trying to be cognizant of that. So we're not going to have the makeup reward. There was a reward last year, I think, for Steven to play Fortnite for an hour or something like that. So we're not doing that. We have one really big goal. If we hit the $1,000, Steven is going to shave his head.
Not live at that moment.
Not?
But
I thought I was going to get to shave your head.
I mean, we can. Look. If I learned anything from my last haircut, it's that apparently shaving your head just like, down the middle when you have thick hair as mine is not as simple as just, it's not as simple as just doing that. So we may need to plan it, but
look,
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I will drop everything once we get that $1,000 and we'll shave it down. Don't worry.
Cool.
I'm ready to go. Steven's been growing his hair out. He's got this nice long hair. It's ready to go.
Mm-hmm. I really have. It's actually starting to look good.
You pushed through that awkward, it's too long stage, and now you're to the point that it's long enough that it looks good. And now we just got to shave it off. So that's our big goal. Obviously the biggest goal is to help kids, but if we...
So Jake.
Yes.
Just throwing this question out there, because I don't know if we ever talked about it. Let's just say that someone is like, boom, $1,000 first 10 minutes. And we're just like, we are out of goals. Do we have in mind, and we don't have to talk about it now, but maybe just something to poll you guys, what you'd like to see is like a really big stretch goal? Like if we just blow it out of the water,
I'll forget even if we blow it out of the water. My next thing was, if you have a suggestion for a reward tier, I can't guarantee that we'll do it, but I would love to hear your suggestions. Especially keeping in mind that like we probably can't pull anyone else in to help. Again, because of COVID, we're trying to be conscious of that. If you have a suggestion, we are all for it. I tried to volunteer shaving my head, and my wife immediately shut that down.
Here's how this happened. So I'm at a party with Jake. I don't know if we're about to do podcasts or about to stream or something. And Jake is like, Steven, crazy thought. What if when we meet our goal, I shave my head? And I was like, oh yeah, that's really good. And hey, if you want to, tease people even more, like I'll do it with you. People would love that. And Jake was like, oh, really? Hey, Lee Allison, we're going to shave our heads. And I just heard Lee Allison go, no. And he's like, oh, well, my hands are tied. Steven, you'll still do it though, right?
I will say I'll gladly shave my beard. I think Lee Allison would let me do at least that. But I don't know if that's really worth. Maybe if we hit that, maybe that can be the 500 goal. We'll shave my beard off, or we could. Oh, what would really be crazy, and Lee Allison would make me have to shave it later. We could just shave me down to the mustache. That would be really funny for a little while, and then I could just shave it off later. I'm totally open to that. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull off the shave my full head, but any of the suggestions you have, anything else you guys got, I'm open to it. Whatever.
Last year the goal was that I did a full playthrough of any game that you guys picked.
Yeah.
And the poll ended up the one that was the winner, because I think Jake, did you pick the ones to be nominated? and then everyone voted. Is that how it worked?
I think that's how it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Devil May Cry. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. I loved that. But I'm sure you guys wouldn't be so kind to me this year if it happened again. But I'd be open to doing that again. So we may throw that in there if
We'll
we
see.
need more.
We'll
stuff.
see how that comes. Yeah. But anyway, it's going to be a good time. Let me tell you all the things we are planning to play. So just so you kind of have an idea of what are they going to be playing this whole time. To start, Ghost of Tsushima. We have not had a chance to do the raid. Now, raids are notoriously long, right? Which is part of our problem with raids. We never have enough time to stream a full raid of anything, let alone have enough time where Steven and I, and usually it's like 6 other people that we have to organize. You know, it's so hard to get those together. Perfect opportunity right here. We have 24 hours to do a raid. And obviously me and Steven are already, we're dedicated to the 24 hours. So we're going to have 2 other folks join us. We're finalizing those people as we speak. But that is going to be a larger part of the live of the stream. I've been told that the raid can take anywhere from like 6 to 12 hours. So it could literally be half of it, but I don't think it's going to take us that long. One of the guys we're going to be playing with, he said that he got through chapter 1. There's 3 chapters. He got through chapter 1 in like 2 hours. So you run that math, you're looking at 6 hours. So anyway, that's going to be a larger part of it. But it's going to be a great one. I mean, we're loving Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima has been awesome. I've heard amazing things about the raid. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, we'll be doing Among Us. We talked about we'll do that at least. We'll probably try to do one Friday before midnight, and then we'll probably do one Saturday. If we depending on where Ghost lands, we may have to do both on Saturday, but we'll try to make sure everyone knows when that's happening. Be sure to be in our Discord because we can probably let you know a little bit ahead of time when that's going. You can join that in the description of this video or podcast, and you can always go to chortlegames.com, and in our banner there is the Discord link there. We're gonna hopefully get to play some Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. That is a local co-op only game, so Steven and I will play a little bit of that. If time allows, we might play some Smash, and I'll insert here. These are the games that we kind of have planned out.
Things could go wrong.
Things could go wrong. I think last year, God of War was like a maybe game, but then we had to deal with this firewall. I ended up playing like
it was like 4 hours.
4 hours of God of War, which I was not planning to do at all, but it was awesome. Anyway. That said, Smash, we don't get to play Smash very often because it's, Switch Online is kind of hit or miss. So we'll be doing a little bit of that locally. We'll be playing AC Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, Miles Morales. I've got Fall Guys on the list. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep Steven on Fall Guys, but we're going to hopefully do at least a couple rounds in that. We've got Avengers on the list. We've got Risk of Rain on the list. We've got Untitled Goose Game, which released their co-op mode. So Steven and I are going to be some geese goosing around, goofing some goofy geese. We're going to have fun with that. And then Steven has been playing Godfall, which we'll talk about here in a bit. We're going to play some Godfall. So what I am expecting that to turn into is it's going to be Steven showing me why I would like Godfall, letting me play a little bit of Godfall, and then me being like, okay, I'll get it and download it. So we'll see where that takes us. But anyway, those are all the games we've got planned. And again, planned, not solid. We don't have any specific times, but we can kind of let you know if you're not following us on Twitter or on the Discord. Be sure to follow us there. We'll be updating throughout the day. Hey, we're playing this now, or hey, we're doing this now. I will say. Almost all of this, except for the Switch games, are going to be played on a PS5, except for Among Us. Among Us will be on an iPhone or an iPad, but it's all going to be PS5 stuff. So that's going to be very exciting. And then hopefully, too, I'll sprinkle just a little bit more tantalization in here.
Tantalization.
We've got. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure I have secured some new streaming equipment that I am renting that should allow for us to actually switch perspectives on the fly. So we can be looking at Steven's gameplay, hit a button, it's my gameplay, hit a button, we're back on, main camera. I'll have, of course, the Pi Cam, which is where we'll go to Pi and
Of course.
do face dunks.
You gotta have Pi Cam.
Gotta have it, So anyway, I'm pretty sure that's going to be secured. It's going to all work. We've done things like that in the past, but it's been very complicated. This is going to be a much simpler solution. Really, we've never been able to switch between my perspective of gameplay to Steven's perspective, especially on the fly. So that'll be really cool if that all works out. I'm knocking on something. But anyway, Extra Life, 7 p.m. Friday, November 20th, going into 7 p.m. November 21st, Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun, all for a good cause. Again, you can already go to chortlegamesextralife.com. Yes, it looks like there's the word sex in the middle of it. That's how you know. It looks
like Chortle Games Sextra Life.
I was gonna say I didn't make the URL, but I did. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't read it. I've got a 10-word limit, Steven, and that I know that's 4 words, but they were all together. So really, it was just 1 word. So I'm just stupid. That's what it is. Anyway, gonna be a great time. Gonna have a lot of fun. We have talked enough about Extra Life. We hope to see y'all there. It's gonna be great. Steven, Next Generation is here.
Next gen is now new gen.
Cut that in half. Next gen is now. I love that. Why has no one used that as a slogan? Is that a slogan?
Probably.
If not, you need to copyright that like today, because that shit's hot. That's hot.
That's hot.
All right, we've been playing the PS5. If you want to see my whole experience with the PS5 up to this point in time, go watch my stream of Astro's Playroom. You will see a lot of my initial reactions, and a lot of what I'm going to say here will probably just echo a lot of what I said there. But we've had our systems for the weekend. It's been great. I'll start because I have probably the least to say because I haven't had as much experience as you have, Steven. I'll save my experience. Well, I don't know. My Astro is so tied to my experience so far, so I may just blow my whole load right here. But I love the system so far.
Yeah,
I've only gotten to interact with the UI a little bit so far. I like it. It's very clean. The system is quiet. I had to mess around with some HDMI cables, and in my streaming setup, I really had to I was basically hugging the system, trying to plug things in. So granted, I'm not running anything crazy, but I had to do a triple check to make sure it was turned on because it was dead quiet. So they really nailed that. I hope I never have to hear a jet engine in my living room again. Again, knocking on something there, but it was a lot of fun. It was really great. We did the picture-in-picture screen share in the live stream that I did of Astro's Playroom, which is just a crazy fun feature.
It is.
When they announced it, I was like, my immediate thought was, oh my gosh, for streaming, that's going to be amazing and we kind of did this. I was playing Astro's Playroom. Steven was playing Watch Dogs. But when we're playing Ghost of Tsushima later, we're totally going to do that screen share so that we can both, not even, my first thought was from a streamer's perspective of cool, this instantly gives us 2 perspectives with minimal effort, right? There's nothing we have to run. We just have to start that up and it's good to go. Is it perfect? No, but it works. But then beyond that, Steven, once he started using it, and this was just during that stream, he was like, how many of these can I have? Because if I could see everyone's perspective while we're playing Ghosts, I could seriously Overwatch and just start calling.
I can run the show.
Yeah. Which absolutely, that's heck for me. My biggest complaint playing with Steven anytime is Steven will be like, Jake, over here. And I'll And it's like he could have been right in front of me, but as soon as he says those words, he's gone. And so I have no idea where he is. But if I could look down in the corner and see, oh, he's over there, and just kind of follow that, it's going to be a game changer. So that was a huge thing. Really liked that. I haven't done a ton with the action cards, but playing Astro's Playroom, it was very easy. I could see, how much I had done on the level that I was on, the level I had just done, how much did I have to complete. I can't wait to kind of mess around with those some more. But the biggest thing about the PS5, other than it being freaking huge, it's no lie, it's huge. They did not over exaggerate on how big this thing is. It's crazy. But the biggest thing, absolutely, is this controller. This controller by itself is next gen.
Right.
I was so afraid, and I mentioned this in the stream. I was so afraid that this controller had been overhyped and I was going to be disappointed. I was blown away. When they talk about the haptic feedback and like the adaptive triggers and like how all that works, it is mind-blowing and game-changing. Like, you want to talk about what, like, I've always kind of had the opinion that graphics have gotten as good as they can get, right? People are racking up to 4K, people are racking up to 8K. We're getting those kind of evolutions. For me, like, I can tell you if I'm looking at them side by side, but for the most part, like, it's fine. It looks good. I'm happy with HD a lot of the time. I fought getting a 4K TV for the longest time. The only reason I got one is because they don't make HD TVs anymore. Like, if you want a new TV, it's basically got to be 4K, which is fine. Yeah. I'm all about that. But anyway, I've always kind of felt that way. So my biggest question has been like, what is the next thing that we need to improve? And I don't know that this is it, but like, this is a huge step in the right direction. The things this controller can do, they talk about haptic feedback, and it's funny. I mentioned in the stream too, Nintendo, when they announced the Switch, right? They had in the Joy-Cons, they talked about 1-2 Switch. There was a game where you could shake the Joy-Con, and because of the haptic feedback, you could tell how many ice cubes were in that Joy-Con. And we all laughed and we're like, what the heck? Like, what are you talking about? That's so weird. And to be fair, Nintendo really didn't do much with that. Like, that was one game that could do that, but it kind of showed what the technology could do. I don't know if Sony saw that and was like, we could do more with that, or if they were already working on it, but they took that principle and escalated it. You feel everything from this controller. In Astro's Playroom, when you're walking around, you feel the footsteps, like almost to the point that I can tell you where he's walking on the controller. Yeah. There's a couple scenes where you're in the rain with Astro, and you can feel the water hitting your. It's an umbrella in the game, but you feel the water hitting your umbrella. When I got a bow, I was done. I'm ready to replay Last of Us Part 2 all over again just to experience the bow again, because the adaptive trigger, when you pull it, you feel the tension of that bow. And I mean, seriously. And then there's audio cues too that are happening that kind of help that immersion. But like, you feel the bow come back, and then when you release, it's like you can feel it. But not only that, like, there's levers and stuff. And like, you've probably seen videos at this point of like people like their fingers like jiggling on the controller because of how much feedback it gives you. Like, that seems like a weird one, but like, there was a lever that I had to pull. And so like pulling and I'm holding the controller for any audio people, but like, when you pull the trigger down, like, you'll get about halfway, like almost to the point where you thought, oh, I just pulled this whole trigger, right? Is what it feels like. But then it kind of, you kind of feel like, okay, I've pulled it all the way, but then you tug a little harder and suddenly it clicks down. Stuff like that. Like, that's what it does, but it has such an immersive feel. There's some cool stuff in Astrobot, and I don't know how many people will ever use this for real, but the touchpad, it's like super sensitive. You can draw things on it. You can give commands using it. There's the mic that you can blow in, which I think, that's a feature that's kind of always been around, but I don't know. Anyway, the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers they really did not or they did not overstate how crazy cool that is. I know, Steven, you were talking about Watch Dogs. You could feel the bullets hitting the cover that you were behind.
Yeah, I was behind like a pillar, and I felt the pillar getting shot.
It's crazy. It's amazing. I'll quickly summarize with Astro's Playroom is fun. It's a great, cute. If you are a PlayStation fan, if you've been with PlayStation for any amount of time, it is a great homage to the history of the PlayStation. The hub world is your actual PS5, and you're going through these 4 different levels, learning about the PS5. Like there's a place called the GPU Jungle, and there's a jingle playing in the jungle that's all about the GPU. And it's like, I'm your GPU, I can do what you want me to do, or something like that. Anyway, it's very catchy. So it's kind of teaching you things like that, but scattered throughout, you're finding artifacts, which are older PlayStation software, hardware stuff, which is really nice. But then also the little astrobots have created little scenes from past games. So like there's an Aloy call out, there's a Shadow of the Colossus call out, there's a Tekken call out. Like if you want to go watch my stream, there were some that I was like, oh my gosh, it's Bloodborne, somebody get Brody, like, oh, this is so cool. And then there were other ones that I was like, I got nothing. What is happening here? One I figured out later, there was one with a giant bird and a little boy. And I wish I had said it on the stream, because I was like, is that Last Guardian? I was like, no, it's like a bird dog. It's not a bird. That was what it was. It was Last Guardian. But anyway, lots of cute little things like that. But the biggest thing, I would recommend it as a first play. Everyone on PS5 gets it. It's built into your PS5. You have it. I highly recommend it as a first play, because it introduces you to the controller and shows you all the things the controller can do. And then as you're playing the game, it demonstrates really the power of what this can do. I can't wait to play something like Miles Morales or Ghost of Tsushima to see, like, how are people actually going to use this? You know what I mean? Like, how is this actually going to get implemented? But Astro is a great start for that. So very cute, free game. Highly recommend it. I'm hoping to platinum it. I'm hoping it'll be my first platinum on PS5. But anyway, very good, very exciting. Steven, you've played a lot more than I have. Did you have any other comments about just the system or the controller? And then will you just dive into the games you've been playing?
The controller, it feels nice. Like it's the haptic feedback is satisfying for like shooters and stuff. Godfall is kind of weird, because like certain moves you do, like the controller, like it's almost like you can feel the power in the controller when you're like charging up a big move. So that's pretty cool. The visuals are kind of crazy. Miles Morales looks so good. Even Ghost of Tsushima. I just got a 4K capable TV a couple weeks ago. And so I was able to play Ghost of Tsushima with like all the bells and whistles going ready to go. And like there was a point when I was playing and I was like, oh my God, holy crap, this is completely different looking. I'm worse at the game now because
you're so
frames are, it's smoother. So like blocking windows are different now to me, because I don't know if it's higher FPS or what's going on there, but
it's 60 frames per second as I understand it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So there's that.
I'm glad you were so blown away by the visuals, because again, you can literally go watch the stream, and that is what I have experienced up to this point. I took the system, plugged it straight into my normal streaming system. So I was going through a capture card. I'm on just an HD monitor right here on my desk. so I haven't hooked up like their HDMI cable, which is I think it's an HDMI 0.2 or something like that. It's a very specific HDMI cable that is strong enough to transfer all the data. I can't wait to take this downstairs, use that HDMI cable, so I'm getting the full feed, and plug that into my 4K TV. I can't wait. It's gonna be. I hope I have a similar experience to what you're describing, Steven, of just being like, holy crap, this is what I've been missing, right? So
yeah, and Ghost of Tsushima, definitely recommend playing that because it just feels really smooth. Miles Morales looks great. Godfall looks really good. Just a lot of particle effects. Godfall feels like one of those games, and I'm just gonna kind of just machine gun through this, just kind of hit things as I go. Godfall feels like one of those games that, like, you can definitely tell it's a launch title because they really wanted to just be like, hey, this is the current gen now. Like, the visuals are great, the frame rate's great,
new gen is
a lot
now,
of particle
baby.
effects. But Godfall's also fun. Like, it gives me a
Miles Morales, not fun. Godfall, fun.
No, I'll get to Miles Morales. Godfall, the combat gives me a little bit of a God of War vibe based on what I've seen of God of War. If it had like a Darksiders or Kingdoms of Amalur kind of coat of paint to it, but there's actually a surprising amount of depth to like build creation and stuff. So, sign me up. But I'm not that far into it, so I don't know if you'll like it, but I'm curious to see if you do.
Gotcha.
But I'm excited to play that for Extra Life. Miles Morales looks great. It does a great job of feeling like an extension of both the PS4 Spider-Man game and kind of Into the Spider-Verse.
You're right.
And that's great. Miles moves completely different. He is so powerful. It's really fun watching him move. And how, like, when you're swinging, like if you do tricks in the air and you start to swing while you're upside down facing the wrong way, he'll just shoot his hand up and swing like that until he corrects himself. So, like, it's just really seamless. And Spider-Man PS4 already had that, but with Miles, he's a lot more bendy and spastic.
Yeah.
So it's really cool seeing Miles do that.
How much have you gotten to play of Miles Morales?
I'm about a third of the way through it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a 15-hour game.
Wow. So
I think.
So you mentioned he's more powerful, and I've kind of been thinking the same thing. I haven't played it yet, I haven't touched it, but just seeing trailers and stuff. My whole thing is like, let's just say in Sony's Spider-Man 2, that comes out in 3 or 4 years. I'm assuming, again, I know nothing of the story, so this could Steven could be sitting at the end of the story later and be like, "Well, Jake, this is not relevant." What Jake thought earlier. My whole thing is like, if we can play as Miles or Spider-Man, like, why would anyone pick Spider-Man? Because
Spider-Man is a lot more versatile.
Okay, all right.
Because well, they're both Spider-Man. Peter henceforth will be called Peter and Miles.
Okay, fair enough.
Miles has the Venom stuff, so and the cloaking, so he's a better stealth character that as far as like infiltration. But he also has the Venom stuff, which gives him some really powerful hits and some good crowd control. But he has like 3 gadgets. That's the difference.
Gotcha.
And Peter has a lot more variety in what he can do. But Miles is more powerful in the things that he does.
Gotcha.
And also the game is honestly harder than PS4. I think they throw so many gun people at you. It's ridiculous. And so I think they knew that, like, hey, Miles is way more powerful, so this is gonna have to be harder. But I'm curious to see if they do that though, where they make it to where you can play either of them.
I imagine
I do not
that it'll probably be similar to 1 where you play different segments as different people, but I could be wrong.
I do not like at all the new Spider-Man, the new Peter Parker.
The new look.
His face sucks. Like there's a scene where Peter and Miles are sitting together, and Peter's supposed to be his late 20s, early 30s or whatever. And Miles is supposed to be 17.
Yeah.
Miles looks double his age.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Every time I see it, I'm like, Tom Holland? Like, why is Tom Holland in this game now?
Yeah,
and Tom Holland is not the older Spider-Man by any stretch of the
imagination. Just looks bad. I don't know why they did it. So Miles Morales is great. Strong recommend. It's not as good as Spider-Man PS4, I don't think, just because Spider-Man PS4 really struck a story chord with me. And Miles Morales has been pretty predictable so far. And it's also just, I don't know. It's not as good in my opinion, but maybe it's because it does feel a little bit like we're retreading what Spider-Verse already did with like Prowler and everything like that.
Yeah.
But what else? Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm sure a lot of that. Sorry, just talking about Miles Morales' story. I'm sure a lot of that is because Miles is really kind of coming into popularity. And I mean, early Spider-Man stuff. I mean, heck, Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans versus the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. You know, we retread the Uncle Ben story again in both of those Spider-Man ones. But then, you know, Tom Holland, it was like, okay, we get it. Like Uncle Ben, we got it. Great responsibility, whatever. People kind of moved on from that. So I feel like with this, you know, really the only thing Miles has had has been Into the Spider-Verse as far as like movie pop culture type things. Obviously, he's been in comics and had comics for a long time, and he's been in TV shows. These are kind of the two things that have kind of really started to get him into popularity. I mean, heck, Into the Spider-Verse really blew him up as a character. So I feel like as more of his stories come into public eye of just like, oh, well, everybody knows about Prowler. We got to tell something else. We got to tell another story, or how can we make Prowler different? Like, you know, what can we do? Until we get to that point, it probably will feel a little predictable for most of us who have been keeping up with that. But anyway, sorry, that was just a comment. Yeah, what are you moving to next?
I'll talk about the bad because that's really all I had to say about load times. Also are really quick. Like Division 2 loads super fast now.
You said Watch Dogs was fast too.
Watch Dogs was very fast as well. Yes.
Let me tell you what. I'm so glad I played Watch Dogs on PS4. I haven't played it on a PS5 yet, so I haven't seen this for myself. But Watch Dogs made me think, holy crap, I cannot wait for the PS5 load times because this is ridiculous.
Yep.
I swear I spent 10 minutes waiting in the loading screen for Watch Dogs. And I can't wait to not have to do that. So, anyway.
You won't have to do that, or at least in my experience, I haven't had to do that, but I didn't play that much. So here's the bad. It's really confusing right now, like the UI overall.
Right.
There are a lot of games that have a PS4 version and a PS5 version. And it's I
was going to ask that. Did you buy the PS4 version of Spider-Man of Miles Morales?
It apparently came with the version I got.
Did you get the Ultimate Edition?
Yes.
Okay. Then that probably is true. So not to get too much on a tangent, I accidentally bought the PS4 version, got it refunded, and then bought the PS5 version. I only ever told it to download the PS5 version, and that's all I got. So I think if you have some things that like, this didn't happen for me with Watch Dogs, but I think it was your experience, was it downloaded your PS4 version of Watch Dogs, but you had bought the PS5 version, and you told it to download the PS5 version, right?
Well, I bought the PS4 version because the PS5 version was an upgrade.
It comes with a free upgrade.
Basically, whenever you download a game, if you own the PS4 version, it defaults that whenever you select download to download the PS4 version, even though you're on a PS5.
Is there a PS5 version of Ghost?
No.
Okay.
There's Borderlands 3, Watch Dogs Legion, Spider-Man Miles Morales,
Valhalla,
but no one cares about that.
I did. I bought it. I got it.
I hope you enjoy it. but I was starting to download things,
Mm-hmm.
and after like 3 games, it was like, you're out of space, and I was like, no, that's not true. And I did some digging, and it was because every time I selected download, even though I selected PS4 version,
Mm-hmm.
it downloaded both. And in the case of Watch Dogs, it just straight up didn't download the PS5 version. So I had to, like, there's a lot of confusion, but it's a very real problem right now that there are probably people out there who are playing Miles Morales right now on their PS5, but it's the PS4 version, and they'll never know. That's an issue.
Yeah. I'm hoping that is just a symptom of this, not even weird, because this is how launch always goes, where there's cross-platform games or cross-generation games.
Yeah.
Hopefully, once there is only a PS5 version, that won't be an issue. But how long is that going to be? Because
Right.
Cyberpunk is coming later in the
Even
year.
Outriders that comes in February is going to have all systems.
Horizon, a big Sony first party game, is going to be PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
So, and that's, if I remember correctly, that's Q3 or 4 of or maybe it was Q2. Anyway, it's late 20, or it's mid to late 2021. So that's a while. And who knows how long that could go. So hopefully as people start to transition into, I've got rid of my PS4, maybe they won't have that many issues. But because, like I said, I bought a PS5 version of a couple things, and it downloaded only the PS5 version. So it may just be a symptom of having PS4 versions and stuff. But anyway, what else was there any other bad that you had noticed so far, other than it just being confusing?
I mean, I've heard controversies about systems getting bricked on both Xbox and PlayStation, and
yeah, I mean, the storage seems to be the biggest issue right now, especially for digital downloaders. I've been telling myself that I was just, hey, eventually I'm going to clear off my hard drive that I used to use to, transfer saves and update new hard drives. I've been saying for a while, like, I need to get that cleaned off, formatted, so I can use that to store PS4 games. But I've been seeing a lot on Twitter today of how people have had a lot of issues with those HDDs bricking their system. So at this point, I'm just going to be deleting stuff and trying to keep a fresh eye on what am I wanting to play right now. Because that's going to be a huge issue.
Yeah,
I really hope they get those new SSDs that we can upgrade to within a year. I mean, if we have to wait much longer, that's going to be difficult, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But it's hiccups for launch. Like everything in hardware has it.
Right.
Like, phones have that. Gaming systems have that. Computers have that. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason I opted in was because it's doing such a good job of blending the like seamlessly going into PlayStation 5, even though you have people who are not. Because I played Ghost of Tsushima with Mike Saturday. He was on his PS4, I was on my PS5.
That's cool.
So a lot of stuff is cross-generational. So you're not leaving your people behind in the dust for getting a PS5 and them not getting a PS5.
That's cool.
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. We should probably
move on.
Wrap up PlayStation.
Yeah.
Move on.
Just to wrap it up. I love it. I can't wait to get more into it. You'll be seeing a lot of it on the channel as we continue through, and I'm sure I will be screaming about the controller for at least a year. So stay tuned for all of that madness. Let's talk quickly, Steven, about our Disney trip. We had a great time. Steven, my wife, his wife, we all went down, and then another couple. We went to 3 Disney parks, and no. Yes. Did we do 3? You did 3.
We did 3. You did 2.
I did 2 Disney parks. We went to Animal Kingdom and Universal Studio, or we went to Universal, and then we also went to Hollywood Studios. Universal obviously is not Disney; that's Universal's properties. But We had a good time. It was a lot of fun. But the whole reason we wanted to do the trip was the last time we went to Disney, Galaxy's Edge was opening like the week we left. So it was like, we got to go back at some point. So that was kind of where our whole trip started, was we wanted to do that. So the very last day we did Galaxy's Edge. It was last day for me. I left Steven. He and his wife had a couple more days, but Galaxy's Edge we did together. It was a ton of fun. We did Rise of the Resistance. It was the very first ride we did that day. If you don't follow Disney park stuff, this is like the big ride at Rise of Resistance, or at the Galaxy's Edge. I call it a ride, but it's really an experience.
Yeah, we didn't know when the ride began.
We really didn't. It was very confused. I mean, really, the whole thing was a ride. That one is very interesting too, because you have to get they call it a boarding pass. You have to get into a virtual queue. So I woke up early. I was up at 6:30 a.m. Ready to get us boarding passes for all of us. I got us in group 9, which they only do like, I think 200 groups. There's 2 times you can do it. There's usually 200 groups a day. It is notorious for filling up within a minute. I mean, you could lose your chance in a minute. So I got us group 9. Literally walked into the park, walked straight onto that ride, and that was how we started our day. It was an amazing experience. I don't want to spoil it all, but like, the line is the ride. Like, you are going through so much, and it's very immersive. Because everyone is in character. You are kind of a character.
Jake got interrogated by a first order officer. I think you tried to speak Huttese to them.
And I got interrogated, and my immediate reaction was to talk gibberish. And I don't know what. I half expected Steven to look at me later and be like, "That was what you wanted. This was your one chance to maybe do something. And that's what you landed on."
I was this close to trying a Jedi mind trick, because I wanted to mind trick somebody.
That would have been cool.
But then she's like, "What of you? Do you have anything to say?" And Jake's just like,
I was like, she was like, "I think you're malfunctioning." And I was just like,
"Yeah, that's what she said."
So anyway, it's very, very awkward. But then we eventually got put in the ride. It was very fun. It was a lot of fun.
Super cool. Yeah.
Very cool stuff. So highly recommend that if you can get into that.
Yeah.
The other big ride that we did there was Smuggler's Run, though. And you've probably seen or heard a little bit about this one too, if you're a big Disney park person. But this is one where you actually get to pilot the Millennium Falcon. And it was a lot of fun. Everybody has kind of a different position. It's a lot like Mission Space, which the last time we went to Disney and we talked about it on a podcast, we talked all about Mission Space. Because it's
like Mission Space if you actually have control,
right?
Because Mission Space was like press a button maybe twice.
Yeah, but the fun thing about Mission Space was the voice of Ikora from Destiny is like the person telling you to do stuff. So for me and Steven, we were like, "Oh, cool, we're on this is Destiny's ride.
This isn't Disney anymore.
We're in Destiny.
This is Destiny."
So that was fun. But no, Smuggler's Run is great. There are 2 pilot positions, 2 gunner positions, and then 2 engineers. It was me, Steven, and his wife riding. So we only had 3 positions available. So I think we rode it 3 or 4 times, and we swapped positions
3 times,
all over. So the first time I was a gunner, Steven and his wife were our pilots. Steven was turning us left and right. His wife was taking us up and down. Steven was braking. She was putting us into hyperdrive, and I was shooting stuff how best I could. There was one time where I was the only pilot, so I was taking us up and down, braking, and doing the hyperdrive. That was a lot of fun. I never really did the engineer position, so I don't know what Anna did. Anna was our one engineer. That was the best run we ever had, was when we had Anna in the engineer spot. So, but let me tell you what, that is a ride worth riding as many times as you can.
Don't sleep on Smuggler's Run.
It's sleep on Smuggler's Run. Like, if that's all you do all day, it'll be worth it. So I love Disney, Toy Story Mania, which we have a Let's Play of that on the channel. It's a disaster, but it'll kind of tell you.
It was more of a let's try.
Let's try and fail. it reminds me a lot of that, just in the sense that, I mean, you are getting a high score. You are getting a score for the gameplay, but it's a game. Like it is. You want to talk about the next generation? Like that's the generation that's like that I want to get to. That's like 25 years in the future, where you are literally driving a ship. It was a lot of fun, great time. And then, Steven, you did the Jedi experience. You got to build your lightsaber.
I did.
I didn't get to go with him on that. So, Steven, tell us a little bit about that.
I'm not going to spoil the whole experience because it was definitely really cool. Like going in, not knowing what to expect. I built alongside some other people. Thankfully, I wasn't the only adult. There were two or three other grown men there.
Yep.
But I got to pick kyber crystal. I got to pick the scrap parts. Like there were 4 different categories of scrap. I got to pick which one I wanted to do, and I went with protection defense because it's very old Republic and it has to do with like well springs of the Force and stuff like that. So come on. Oh, I put it in wrong.
There it goes.
There we go. Lightsaber.
It's beautiful.
Very happy with it.
It's beautiful.
Jake, when we left the experience and we're headed over to meet with him and Lee Allison, Jake was like about to cry. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but you were like, not about to cry, but you were just like so pumped. You were just like, I wasn't excited to see this thing, but now I am.
Yeah. Like it was really cool. and I can only imagine like going through that experience of like, I'm making this thing. Like this is mine. So it was very cool.
So I did that and it was super cool. Definitely worth the second mortgage.
It wasn't that much, but I was surprised. I was expecting it to be like $500, but it was not that. No, it was like 200. Yeah. So still a lot, but not as bad.
If I go back, when I go back, if someone with me is like, I'm totally going to go build a lightsaber, I'm actually going to do it again so I can get an extra set of scrap. So I can mix and match my lightsaber some more. I'm actually taking it apart right now because I was going to try something. But yeah, so it was really cool.
So cool. Then the last thing we did, literally, they closed the park around us so we could get to our reservation, was Oga's Katana. Again, if you're not following Disney park stuff at all, this is what is the cantina called in? Is it a New Hope?
Mos Eisley Cantina.
Okay, it is themed around that cantina, right? But it's Oga's Cantina. They have special drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. There's my man DJ Rex, who's what kind of droid is he, Steven? Do you
I don't know? I don't know. Jake.
I was watching Star Wars Rebels and recently, and there was a droid that was driving a transport shuttle, and it was DJ Rex. And I was like, I don't know what kind of model droid that is, but anyway, DJ Rex is up there and he's playing like all these remixes of Star Wars songs. And like, I know, Steven, you made a comment. You were like, I mean, obviously they've got the they've got that. Gotta have that, right? I think there's a programmed in moment. Everyone has a 45-minute window. And I think every hour, the building loses power and they hit something and it reboots. And the first song that DJ Rex does in his set is that song, I think. I don't know if you really put that together, Steven. We didn't really talk about it, but
yeah, I kind of figured that was what was going on.
Anyway, DJ Rex is awesome. A lot of great music. I had 2 alcoholic drinks. Everyone else kind of had tried something else that was non-alcoholic.
I had blue milk and a cookie. It was fantastic. And I had Jamba Juice, also fantastic.
Very good. I had this thing called Jet Juice, which the only reason I got that is I'm a big whiskey fan. And it was one of the only drinks that had whiskey in it. So I was like, I know I'll like that, but I got to try something else. I had to try the Fuzzy Tauntaun. because I had heard people on podcasts talk about it. Like, oh yeah, you got to try the fuzzy tauntaun, whatever. It had like some vodka, pineapple, mango stuff, blah, 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 blah. You get the fuzzy tauntaun for the experience.
What was it that came on top of that?
The Buzz juice or something like that. Buzz fuzz.
The bussy button.
The bussy button. I don't understand why do they call it that, but anyway, he presents me to my drink, and I there's no straw, and there's all this foam on the top, and I was just like, well, everyone's talked about this fuzzy tauntaun. I gotta give it a try. So I don't even think I was really paying attention. I was kind of listening to y'all. I'm listening to DJ Rex. Me and DJ Rex were getting ready to vibe. Okay, we were kind of syncing up right then. I took a sip. I don't know how much you noticed when I first took the sip, Steven, but I took a sip, put it down, and then I just kind of like, I perked up and I was just like, what the? Whoa. And like, I don't know. I really don't know. I was literally just like hands out on the table and I was just like, whoa, what? Whoa. And then I was like, Steven, you got to try this. Handed it over to Steven. I had the girls try it. The foam, I don't know what it really is, but it's like Pop Rocks or something like that. When the foam hits your tongue, hits your lips, it's tingling. Like you tingle all over. And so you mix that with alcohol and it was a ride. It was crazy. It was an experience. I highly recommend the fuzzy tauntaun. It was actually really good, especially once I got past the foam. It was really good. Drank the whole thing. Yeah. My jet juice was great as well. But it was a full fun ride. So I had those 2 drinks, and this is the fun exit story. All right. Or did you have anything else you wanted to say about the cantina before I take us home, Steven?
It was good. It was really fun. That's it.
It was a fun experience.
Are you taking us home? Because I don't know if you remember
I'm gonna get us started. I'm gonna crank the car and I'm gonna let you drive us home. All right?
You're the ship.
I should be driving.
I'm the ship. You're the pilot.
I'm the ship. You're the pilot. I'm cranking up. All right, here we go. So I had my 2 drinks. Right. All right. Fuzzy tauntaun has some vodka in it. I don't drink a lot of vodka, but maybe I should. And then I had that whiskey drink that was like basically an old fashioned. So as I was about midway through my jet juice, me and DJ Rex really started vibing, right? Like I was doing all these dances. I was doing like the robot in our seat. I was having a great time. And one of the things about the cantina is they have like snack food, but like everything in Disney is so expensive. So like we were already paying like $15 per drink, alcoholic or not. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want to spend like 15 or 20 more bucks on like snacks. So we were talking like, hey, one of the places we want to try is this place called Chicken Guy. So of course everything in Disney is in character, right? So I'm vibing, right? Me and DJ Rex are on a good roll here. Our bartender comes up. He's like, "You guys good? Y'all need anything else?" And we were like, "No, we're good. We're ready for check." And then I was like, "Hey, do you ever go to the planet, this planet Earth? There's a place called Florida there." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been there a couple times, whatever." And I'm like, "Have you ever eaten at a place called Chicken Guys?" And he's like, "I've been there a couple times." I was like, "Is it good? What do you recommend?" And he's like, "It's chicken, it's fries, so it's, that's great. But the big thing you go for is the sauces." And I was like, "Oh." He was like, "They've got like 50 sauces." I was like, "Oh, well, what's your favorite?" And he goes, "The donkey sauce." And I was gone at this point. I was gone. So
all he heard for the next 5 minutes was donkey sauce.
I was like, the guy's away to go get our check. I look back at the rest of the group and I was like, who the heck named something donkey sauce? Anyway, I was gone. It was great. We pack up to go. Everything online is telling us that Chicken Guys shuts down at 9. So we are it's like 8:30 at this point that we're leaving Disney. I am literally gone. Like there was a moment where I was vibing with DJ Rex and I was doing this right here. I kind of waving my hand like it's a plane. And I look over at Steven and I was like, "Okay, Steven, you're the pilot. I'm the ship. What am I doing? Am I going left? Am I going right? Am I going up? And am I going down? What am I doing?" And Steven was like, "Going left." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And then going right and doing all this. Anyway, Steven he told me to go into hyperspeed. I shot the rest of my drink. It was great. Steven and the ladies.
Actually, what happened was he was like, all right, Steven, you gotta say, I'm gonna go in hyperspeed. You gotta tell me to punch it. And I went, what, to punch it? And then he was just like, that's good enough. And then he just chugged it.
I'll take it. Anyway, Steven and the ladies had to get me back to the car. Of course, I was not driving. They load up, and it was my car. We load up in my car, and we start driving to Chicken Guys. And I'm getting further and further. I am drifting into outer space to the point I kind of remember what happened, but Steven, you're going to tell it so much better. So please take the reins.
So first off, we were trying to call in the order. And
for whatever reason, they told me to call it in. Okay.
I don't remember why we told him.
On a good day, I am horrible at ordering food from multiple people.
Yeah, I think this was the most coherent Jake was for the rest of the night, was when he was talking to the person and he was like, yeah, hold on. Why'd we pick me to do this?
Well, no, there were so many complications because the guy was like, hey, I was like, hey, we'd like to put in an order online. And he was like, okay, give me a second. And I was like, that's weird. Just take my order, dude. Like, what's the problem? And he was like, let me go get a manager. And I was like, why do you need a manager to take my order? And I could hear on the other line, they were like, they want to put in an order. Like, well, have they done it online? And he kind of came back and I was like, look, dude, your website's down. Like, what's the deal? Anyway, long story short, during that exchange, as he kind of put me down, I looked over at Steve and I was like, why did y'all pick me to do this? Like, I'm not in the space to make this happen. Anyway, long story short, they were going to be open till 10. So we had a lot more time. But anyway, take it the rest of the way.
So the plan was, our hotel was right next to Disney Springs, and Chicken Guy is in Disney Springs. So the plan was Jake and I would get dropped off. Anna would take Lee Allison back to the hotel because she was kind of tired. And they would wait for us to bring the food. We were going to walk back.
Yeah.
I don't know why we thought that was going to happen. So we get dropped off, and well, I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but you know, we're getting to the better stuff. But just to add some context, Chicken Guy is Guy Fieri's chicken restaurant. That's why it's called Chicken Guy. And Jake heard this and was like, I talked to Guy Fieri. The manager was either Guy or the chicken. I don't know which one it was. He sounded like a man, like, and a lot of this was facilitated by me. I was egging him on.
It's true.
Pun intended. But Jake just started being like, this chicken, if he lied to us, he said they were open till 10. He's a liar. Like Jake just started creating lore for Chicken Guy. Do you remember what the history of Chicken Guy is?
So the
Jake?
history of Chicken Guy, as I recall, is that Guy Fieri stuck. And by the way, Guy Fieri, I'm so sorry for this. We love you. We totally support you. But
we loved Chicken Guy. It was really good.
Yeah. The lore for Chicken Guy is that Guy Fieri took a chicken and he stuck it up
like
his
an
butt.
egg.
And
he incubated the egg in his butt.
In his ass. And it hatched. And the chicken was like, I got a deal for you, Guy. Instead of eating me, let me be your mascot. And then you can eat all of my brother. And Guy was like, you know what? I like this guy. I like this guy's style. Let's throw a
Flavor
flame
Town
shirt
of
on
you.
it. How Flavor Town of you. So anyway, that's how Chicken Guy.
That was not spurred on by anyone. Jake just started saying this. Not a true story, obviously. It could be. It's Guy Fieri.
What happened is the further away we got from the cantina, the less filter I had, but the more words
the less
that
he
were
was
coming
vibing
out.
with Rex.
It was like I was a faucet that just someone kept turning up. And
he really was.
Yeah. Anyway.
And at one point I even we were saying something to each other about I was like, your phone can't do that or whatever. And you were like, yeah, it can. I was like, okay. To say, hey, Google, do this. And then Jake, holding his phone, just goes, I can't do that. He was so shattered because he couldn't say, hey, Google, to his phone and it respond because it's an iPhone. So he had to say, hey, Siri. I just thought that was great because I shattered Jake's universe with that accidentally. It was funny.
It was a great time.
We almost got arrested trying to walk into Disney Springs because we bypassed the temperature check.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
and so a security guard yelled at us and he was like, you got to go here. And Jake was like, sorry, we're trying to get chicken. Where's chicken guy? And he's just like, you're fine. They got plenty of time. And so we get to chicken guy. This is where the story really starts. Let me tell you, we get there and we're trying to figure out what the order is. And he was like, what sauces do they have? Where's the donkey sauce? And I pointed at the wall and there's just this big sign of all these different sauces that you can get with your chicken. And Jake was just like I think his brain shut down for a second and was like trying to process everything. There was just too much. And I was like, okay, Jake, let's do this. Text Anna and Lee Allison a picture of this sign so that they can tell us which sauces they want. Cause that's going to be easier than just texting what the options are. And I saw the picture that Jake took to text them. And if I remember the picture correctly, it was a terrible picture. Like it was at a right angle to where like I couldn't really read them. And then again, it was one of those things where it was like, why did I tell Jake to do this? So I did it myself. And then I sent one to Anna because I think Lee Allison was able to read it. Maybe I just can't read. I don't know. So we get up to the register. And you there, Jake?
Yeah, we got to go a little bit faster. I'm crunching up on my time.
Yep. We're almost there. So we get up to the register and this girl's name is Deidre. And Jake just goes up to her and he's like, we need 3 chicken. Wait. And Deidre is just like, is he okay? And he says, Jake's like, how do you say that name? And she's like, Deidre. And he goes, I wanted to say D'Angelo. Deidre, we need 3 chickens. And I was like, you're done, Jake. I was like, hey, here's what we need. And she's laughing. She's having a great time. Deidre thought it was hilarious. So we go to get our drinks. And this guy who will be called Tom gets our drinks. And I'm asking him, I'm like, hey, do you have drink holders? Because we got 3 drinks, 3 milkshakes. And that could be a potential disaster. And he's just like, sure, I got you. And he gets the drink holders. And we are waiting for the food. And we put the 3 drinks in one holder and the other holder is for the shakes. And Jake's he's rambling at he's been talking this whole time. He's talking about the Guy Fieri cardboard cutout that's in all this stuff. I don't even remember all of it. But this guy comes up with our food and he's just like, he's got the bags and he hands them to us. He's like, hey, these shakes, we're just waiting on the shakes and then you guys will be good to go. And Jake just goes, Brandon, it's okay. We have drink holders. and quote unquote Brandon just goes, cool.
I know for a fact his name was Brandon. He had a badge that said Brandon. I didn't catch Tom's name, but it was definitely.
But like Brandon. Jake, you said it in a way to where it was like he was in on the joke. But and this is why I said this to you. I went to Jake. I was like, Jake, we've never spoken to that man before in our entire life. What was that? And he was just like, no, that was Brandon. I went to high school with him. He's a punk. He poked holes in our drinks.
Did not go to high school with him. Oh my God.
And so then Anna had to come pick us up. It was a whole thing. Oh man, it was great.
It was a while.
There was a lot of other stuff, but like the 2 big things were, it's okay, Brandon. We have drink holders. He was so excited. There was that, and then of course the Deidre thing. Time. It was great.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. We do hope you've enjoyed it, especially that last little bit about Chicken Guy.
It's great food.
I
recommend it.
Highly recommend. It really though, it was good. Get the loaded mac and cheese. That's what I should have gotten.
Oh man,
should have just done that. Would have been great.
It was so good.
We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Of course, like, follow, subscribe here on YouTube at chortlegames.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at Chortle Games, Twitter at Chortle Games, and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Chortle_games. You can also join our Discord. We talk to you guys, let you know what's going on You can get to that in the description of this video or podcast. You can also always go to chortlegames.com, and in the banner, there's a button for Discord, and you can hit that. So I recommend you do all that. Extra Life is this weekend. Normally we do streams on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We might have a Thursday night stream, probably around 7 o'clock. But the big thing this week is Extra Life is happening at Friday, November 20th, 7 p.m. starting, going until Saturday, 7 p.m., November 21st. So be sure to tune in there. You can always go to chortlegamesextralife.com if you want to go ahead and donate, kind of get an idea of what that's going to look like, all that good stuff. So we're very excited. Hope you'll tune in for that. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for sticking with us.
But first, okay, cool. That looked pretty cool. I switched crystals. It's red now.
I figured you did. And on that note, we'll see you guys this
Bye,
weekend
everybody.
for Extra Life. See ya.